Thanks. Also this week, we are hearing from both of Indiana's U.S. senators to discuss the ongoing talks in Congress over the next stimulus package. First up, Indiana Senator Mike Braun on what kind of legislation we might ultimately see.
I'm nearly certain there's going to be a package put out there. I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to the HEROES Act, which goes way beyond addressing coronavirus issues. It's kind of a wish list of a lot of policy stuff. And I'm one of the most fiscally conservative individuals here. I still like to stick my neck out on issues to make sure we're in the discussion. But trillions are now thrown around like hundreds of billions. And I think government caused this because of the approaches to handle the disease. So there's responsibility for the companies and the individuals that were displaced for us to do something. But if you take care of those at the lower end of the pay scale, most importantly, the businesses that got overlooked in the first packages, that would be a whole lot less than $1 trillion. You're going to have some Republicans, myself included, that whenever that package is dropped in our lap, it'll be the top line number that probably is going to turn us off on it more so than the content. And I still think it'll pass. And I think it's a matter of a week and a half or two because I think they've come off of that lofty perch of the HEROES Act, which to me we couldn't afford. And it's got so many things in there not focused on coronavirus. It'll get worked out and we'll come back and vote on it.
You took some heat this week in an interview saying that schools should take a little bit of risk when it comes to reopening. Do you regret saying it that way, given that we're talking about the health and safety of our kids and our teachers, and given the fact that we have seen cases pop up already in some Indiana schools?
No, not at all, in the sense that if you take anything literally, you might be able to interpret that in a way that is like throwing caution to the wind. I'm saying do not hunker down, do not accept the fact that you've got to do something drastically across the board. The reading I'm getting from most parents is they want to reopen safely. And when I say take a little risk, I said mitigated, not doing it in a way that would, in any way, say that you're going to cascade into issues. But on the other hand, you're going to have to try things differently. Maybe that'd be a simpler way to look at it. In the same way that Purdue has put out a protocol for how we're going to, try to teach at the post-secondary level, I think that same kind of approach needs to be taken at the elementary and secondary level. And I'm guessing that most parents across the state are willing to see if that happens. If you do it, if you're running into issues, you've got to react quickly and be on guard, because there is no guaranteed method of how we get through this that's going to be probably ideal. Of course, I won't go through the litany of other reasons why it might be healthier to be in school rather than out of it. And we've got the peculiarity of the disease itself that kind of ebbs and flows and shows us something new. So that means do not throw caution to the wind. I don't think you stay at home and have that as the method to where you avoid it entirely. You got to be quick on your feet, be enterprising, and do it safely.
All right, Senator Mike Braun there in Washington, D.C. Also this week, I spoke with Indiana Senator Todd Young about the coronavirus crisis, our national response, and the steps Congress is looking to take now.
I want to start by asking, where do you stand on the various proposals being discussed in Congress when it comes to another stimulus package? And how dire a situation will this be for people who are suddenly without the same unemployment benefits they've been getting these past few months if something doesn't get worked out here?
Well, look, we need to come up with a principled compromise. It's clear there's a very yawning gap between the current $1 trillion negotiating position that we have in the U.S. Senate, which includes liability protections for schools and businesses so that they can safely reopen. It does provide unemployment insurance, but winds down the current level of assistance we currently provide, and additional assistance to our healthcare providers and our hardest hit businesses. Nancy Pelosi's package, $3.5 trillion, a third of it has nothing to do with coronavirus relief and includes things like funding the National Endowment for the Arts. So, look, there are real lives at stake here. It's time to put political games aside. I think that Democrats clearly have not been negotiating in good faith, and so this is an indictment, not of all Democrats. I don't like to do that, but Nancy Pelosi has not moved off of her $3.5 trillion figure. If she really wants to help the American people, if Chuck Schumer want to help the American people, they're going to have to come a bit our way as we're prepared to come their way.
More broadly, on the virus itself, we're seeing about 1,000 deaths a day in this country. The president in an interview this week saying, quote, "It is what it is." How do you want to see him respond, and what do we need to be doing as a country to improve our response to this deadly virus?
You know, I think all of us in public life should be doing our best to express empathy. I can only speak for myself and try and sympathize because I can't entirely put myself in the shoes of someone who has lost someone who has COVID or has a direct family member who's been infected by this wicked virus. But we need to be providing all of the reassurance and all of the direct assistance we can in order to keep people safe and secure. So that means testing, tracing. Republicans are working on a package to incorporate that into the current negotiations. That includes some assistance or flexibilities for our state and local governments, for example. So those are meaningful things within my control. In the meantime, we certainly need to be sensitive to the horrible carnage that has been wrought as a result of this to individual lives, to businesses, and to other major institutions.
What about our schools? We have already seen a few cases pop up across Indiana schools that have reopened. Are you concerned about the safety of students and teachers as schools reopen? Will they be able to do it safely?
Well, as the father of 4 young children, age 14, 12, and my twins are 10, of course, I'm very concerned. I'm concerned about the other kiddos around Indiana and around America. However, I look at their whole health, right? So I'm concerned about the possibility that they might be affected by this virus. I'm also concerned about their social and emotional and intellectual development, all of which will be inhibited if they're not allowed to go back to school. So we need to balance these two things. I think we're doing our very best. The governor is doing his very best, working with different school districts to make these decisions. And my kids have returned to school this week. I hope that most of their schooling can be done in person.
Senator Todd Young, thank you for taking some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Dan.
All right, coming up next this Sunday in Focus, the convention's going virtual. The president and vice president, Joe Biden and his running mate, could all be making speeches virtually. We'll talk about that with our panel and the latest on the fight over mail-in voting here in Indiana, what the governor and state Democrats are saying about that issue next.